Imagine landing in Miami, eager to watch the Unrivaled Women's Basketball League in action. You check your phone and then, surprise, the game's been canceled due to injuries. This isn't a local rec league, it's a professional league. And it leaves you wondering, how often do you hear of a pro game being canceled due to injuries? Unfortunately, Unrivaled, which was meant to be a game changer for women's basketball, is facing a series of challenges. Injuries are mounting, ratings are sinking, and people are questioning the league's future. In the middle of all this, there's one player whose absence stands out, Caitlyn Clark. She's the one player many believe could have saved the league. So why did she turn down a reported $1 million offer to play for Unrivaled? When Caitlyn Clark made the decision to skip Unrivaled, many were left scratching their heads. The money on the table, the potential for equity in a new league. It seemed like a no-brainer. But Clark's decision turned out to be the most thoughtful move for both her career and the broader future of women's basketball, including the WNBA. Let's talk about the magnitude of Caitlyn's decision and why it was a win, even if some fans and analysts didn't see it that way at the time. Caitlyn Clark's rise to prominence has been nothing short of extraordinary. She had the most dominant rookie season in WNBA history, averaging 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. With stats like that, it's clear why she's such an electrifying presence on the court. But it's not just the numbers. Clark's impact on ratings cannot be ignored. In fact, Clark's presence on the Indiana Fever made them the most watched team in women's basketball. Their games averaged over 177,000 viewers, and WNBA viewership overall soared by 170%. Some of her games even outperformed NBA games airing at the same time. This wasn't just about the WNBA, it was about Clark's ability to attract casual sports fans and elevate women's basketball. Given all that, it's easy to see why Unrivaled wanted her on board. But Caitlyn's decision to decline wasn't just a personal one, it was a strategic move that ultimately benefits the entire landscape of women's sports. The first key factor is health. While Unrivaled initially seemed like a great opportunity, it became clear that the league's physically demanding format, full court, 3-on-3 games, was taking a toll on players' bodies. Injuries quickly mounted, and at one point, nearly 20% of the league's players were sidelined. This raised red flags about the sustainability of the league, especially when they didn't have the depth to handle such injuries. Without adequate player rotation or depth, the quality of the product suffered. Clark, with her long-term career in mind, made the smart decision to sit out. A healthy Caitlyn Clark is invaluable to the WNBA's future, but if she had joined Unrivaled, there's always the risk of a major injury, say an ACL tear, sidelining her for the entire WNBA season. The financial $1 million offer was tempting, but not worth the potential damage to her career. By skipping out on Unrivaled, Clark protected her future and ensured that her full impact would be felt in the WNBA instead. Moreover, the growing injury concerns with Unrivaled highlight the risks of this experimental 3-on-3 format. The league's decision to move forward with full-court games, similar to the men's Big Three league, has proven physically demanding. Even seasoned athletes like former NBA players face challenges in the full-court, fast-paced action, which can lead to injuries. The issue is exacerbated when players are fatigued, and with the current shallow player pool, it's a tough situation for any league to manage. But Caitlyn Clark's absence does more than just protect her health. It highlights her immense value to the game. As Unrivaled's viewership began to plummet, falling from an initial 300,000 viewers per game to 160,000 on average, Caitlyn's absence only reinforced just how critical she is to women's basketball's growth. Her brand power isn't just limited to the WNBA. It's a force that can elevate any league she participates in. In Unrivaled's case, her presence would likely have tripled or even quadrupled the ratings. Without her, it's a tough sell to attract the kind of casual fans the league desperately needs. This is where Caitlyn Clark's decision becomes even more astute. While some may see it as a blow to Unrivaled, Clark understood that her absence would make her return to the WNBA all the more anticipated. Her future in the WNBA, surrounded by a stronger supporting cast, promises to drive up viewership and elevate the entire league. The WNBA needs stars like Caitlyn, not just to raise the level of play, but to boost its visibility and revenue, ultimately benefiting all players. Clark's decision mirrors other smart career moves she's made, such as turning down the NBA's invitation to participate in the All-Star three-point contest in favor of taking part in the WNBA version. This decision wasn't about her. It was about promoting the WNBA and bringing attention to the talent across the entire league. By skipping out on Unrivaled, Caitlyn Clark ensured that she would remain the face of women's basketball. And while it may seem like a bad look for Unrivaled to struggle without her, the truth is that her decision has created more value for the WNBA and women's sports as a whole. Ultimately, Caitlyn Clark understands her value, and by protecting her career, she's setting up a brighter future for all women's basketball players. Unrivaled isn't doomed, but without Caitlyn Clark, it faces a tough road ahead. If the WNBA can increase players' salaries through a new collective bargaining agreement, the need for a rival league may lessen. Still, the future of women's basketball looks strong as long as players like Caitlyn Clark remain at the forefront, elevating the game and building the visibility it deserves. Caitlyn's decision to protect her body and career was a calculated move that benefits her and, in the long run, the entire sport. By focusing on the WNBA and securing its future, she's ensuring that women's basketball thrives, even if it means Unrivaled fades into the background.